Well, my friends, I've seen another interesting trend on YouTube that I wanted to talk about because I thought about it and realized, oh my God, it's true for me too. I've noticed that some of the content creators who are over 50, over 60, and I think even some over 40 are talking about how they have no friends. At first, my reaction was like, oh my gosh, that sounds like really sad. And then I stopped and looked at my own life and I went, oh my God, I don't have any friends either. What is going on? So I listened to a couple of the videos from those content creators and I found myself doing a lot of nodding, like, yep, I get it. I totally understand. Been through that, been there. And of course, they had their own stories of really frustrating or heartbreaking things that they went through with friends. And then I went and read the comments and I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is a thing. Like, so many people are out there talking about the fact that they either don't have friends, they prefer not to, or they've been through some horrible situation with friends. And by friends, I guess I should probably specify, by friends, we're talking about women and their women friends. I hate to say it, but this seems to be the thing. Now, y'all know I am absolutely pro-women, women's empowerment, like rock on, but I'm also pro-men too. Like everybody brings value to the table, and I think our culture has programmed us to be as toxic as possible and to turn against each other. So that's a whole separate topic for another video. But I will say that I have to kind of agree with a lot of these videos that women friendships are really difficult. And when I look back at my life in the past, there's been ongoing drama and beefs with my women friends. And I'm going to say right now, I am allergic to drama. Even when I was a teenager, a kid, I did not like it. I was the one who was like fighting to not have drama, or the one that was standing in the way when someone was being bullied, trying to stop the bully, or the one that was sitting at the cafeteria table with the person who was sitting by themselves. Like, now, am I perfect? No. I'm not claiming to be perfect. There's two sides to every story, and those who are friends with me, they may have had some shit, like beefs with me, shit that I did that wasn't cool. There could be legit stuff. But I know I can rest my head. For me, I can rest my head on my pillow or look myself in the mirror and say, not once ever, I'm 53, and not once in my 53 years have I ever purposefully screwed somebody over, have like really talked shit about them behind their back and like started some nasty rumor. I never wanted to compete with my girlfriends. I never like brought somebody down on purpose, made fun of them, embarrassed them, humiliated them. Never. But unfortunately, it seems like these are the themes that happen in women friendships. And I'm with them on that. Like, almost every woman friendship that I've had has ended in either drifting apart and not talking anymore, or ended with some kind of drama where, in my opinion, it was like bullshit. It was either some catty thing or some made up shit, or like some insecurity / competitive thing that was not necessary. And I wish I could say that now that we're in our 50s, that doesn't happen anymore, but I'm sad to say this even happened to me recently, where I had a falling out with a friend over some really bizarre shit that she had kind of conjured in her head. I don't even know. And I'm very patient and I'm very open-minded and open-hearted. So I'm willing to talk about things and own my shit when I need to own my shit. Like, if I inadvertently hurt somebody, or if I overstep boundaries or something, whatever, I'm willing to own it. But if you're going to make up shit or lie to me or just totally go off the rails and start drama where there was none, that's a deal breaker, sister. Like, I don't have time for that shit. In my 20s, I may have put up with that, but as a 53-year-old, absolutely fucking not. Like, protecting my peace has become my most important thing. And I am totally comfortable in my own skin. I'm comfortable with my own company. I don't fear loneliness. I think in our American culture, we have been very programmed to fear being alone. that it's seen as a bad thing, it's seen as a character flaw, or it's just something to be afraid of, when it's not. We should be able to be comfortable as human beings being by ourselves and being comfortable with ourselves in our own company and not having to go down some downward spiral black hole. Now, that being said, we are social creatures, so relationships are important too, right? There's a place for having really healthy, connected relationships. But part of the problem, I think, is that, especially here in America, mental health is such a problem. Like, people, there's so many toxic traits going on. We all have them, that our emotional maturity level is very low. And it's really hard to make lasting, connected, healthy, fulfilling relationships when people are coming together without any emotional maturity. For some of us, we've been on the personal development journey for years. I've probably done it to like even becoming a toxic trait, where I've done the whole self-help thing so much so that I was probably too obsessed with it at one point. Therapy is great too. I have just found that sometimes it's helpful and sometimes it's not. Not easy to find a therapist that you really connect with that can help. I'm sure they're out there, but it's not always easy. So I've found self-help videos, podcasts, books, and that kind of thing to be really helpful and eye-opening. You have to be willing to look at your shit. Like, the first step is self-awareness. And it's hard to be in a relationship if the other person is not willing to be self-aware. There's only so far you can go. So that's one problem. But it just makes me sad that it seems like a lot of female relationships end up either destroyed or really strained because and I think it's an American thing. I'm going to say it right now. I'm perfectly willing to call out toxic traits in our American culture. And I think there's two things going on. One is being like loneliness, isolation, where we're encouraged to be more and more isolated as time goes on, which we, yes, should be comfortable being alone, but not if we're doing it because we're like, I hate people. Like it or not, we need each other. And when human beings can work in community, that's when our species thrives the most. But now it's to the point where we don't even really know our neighbors anymore. And I say this from my own experience and people that I've spoken to. I'm sure there are exceptions where some of you out there are still friends with the same pack you ran with in high school. You're super tight. Maybe you have both guy friends, girlfriends. They're like your siblings. Your neighbors. You have like block parties. And God love you. God bless you. You are gifted. For many of us, it's like a different world. Like, we don't run around the neighborhood anymore. We don't know our neighbors. People are like, you mind your business, I'm minding mine. That seems to be an American thing. Because in other countries that I've seen videos and documentaries about, it seems like the ones who are living into their 80s, 90s, 100s, one of the things they say contributes to longevity is their community, their relationships, both family and friendships. They still have active friendships. They get together, they do things. So, I mean, is it possible to just have family, not friends? I'm sure it is, right? We don't want to just make friendships for the sake of making them and force them. But I think it's sad that here in America, there seems to be a lot of programming with women to compete against each other and to not trust each other and to be super catty with each other. And for what? For what? It seems to be a collective trauma for women in our society. I know some of us might have trouble identifying or relating to other women because we had a really difficult relationship with our own mothers. Like, that plays into it, but also just all the societal programming does not help. To really truly want to empower other women and lift each other up in a sisterhood, that takes fucking work. That takes self-work, not everybody else working to make you feel comfortable or you or me feel comfortable. It takes a lot of self-reflection and willingness to be super self-aware, willingness to suspend a lot of judgment and throw away whatever we were taught, we learned, and truly be open. I saw one comment on someone's video that sisterhood was bullshit. The whole concept was bullshit. Wasn't going to happen. That made me so sad because I think it's possible, but we have to start from scratch and relearn everything we were taught. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. I love you guys. Mwah!